Greetings, beings. Jacob Martinez, Crystal Haiku Guy, artoflove.me, here with your July readings. And happy birthday to all Cancerians. It is your season, and I hope this year kicks ass. So, first things first, this channel is M for mature audiences only. So make sure you're only watching this if you're considered a legal adult wherever you are right now. I just say what I think the messages are, and there are usually some strong words involved, so if you're someone that gets offended, sorry. Please also check your sun, your moon, and your rising. These are all free readings that I'm doing. They're general readings, and so I always find when I'm checking for myself, if I look at the sun, the moon, and the rising and other readers' pages, I usually get the best insight into my life. And it's just important to remember that we are all constituted of different things, and so there are different times that certain energy pulls might affect us differently than one another. And since it is a general reading, it's just probably going to make more sense if you get a more complete picture that would be relevant to your life situation. And that's going to be the way to do it if you're going with free readings. I always recommend getting a personal reading if you have the means to do it. I don't have time to actually take on any personals right now, so I'm just not time inventoried due to my own personal healing schedule for myself and others. I do shamanic work and also some personal projects, but there are so many good readers here on YouTube. I bet you can find several that you'll just jive with great. And if you were just looking for like personal recommendation, I'd be willing to do that too. My email address is below if you want to ask. I've actually read with several readers here, and I'd read with a lot more if I had more time, put it that way. So you could also hit me up if you have a prayer request, because I'm a guy that likes to pray for people. So don't feel like you're alone. If you're going through anything, hit me up and I'll pray for you and all that. So I love to do that, and I always make time for that. Another thing too, I'm probably not going to gender everything right for most of y'all. This is a general reading, and so nailing down a gender, it would be pretty silly to say that anybody could do that with accuracy. Plus, it can be such a flexible thing too that in a general reading, it's just not going to happen. And so it's just important to apply what makes sense to you in your life the way that it does, and you're going to get a feeling inside, oh yeah, that was for me. And switch the he, the she, the they, whatever it is that makes sense for you, so that it can apply to your life and situation if it is a message for you. What else? Yeah, well, since it's Cancer season, and happy birthday to all you Cancerians, we're actually going to start with the water element. I do 4 videos, one for each of the elements. And within each of those recordings, you'll see 3 timestamps, which are below here, one for each of the corresponding signs. So please feel free to jump ahead or toggle back and forth, however it makes sense to you. You don't have to, watch, the whole video straight through by any means. I basically just do them this way because I've been seeing that a lot of people do like to see the shuffle, whether or not that's time effective for everybody. I don't make that assumption. So what I just decided I was gonna do to demystify the process, even if it is a little lengthy and boring for some, is just attempt to get it in the video. And so that's what I've been doing, but that doesn't mean you need to watch it. And God bless you if you do. But yeah, so I'm gonna attempt to put him here. And actually, to be honest with you, the last readings, I thought the shuffle, it might have been like watching paint dry, but there were some cool messages that came up, and We actually did like a chakra clearing for some of the signs just because it came up that it was relevant to do at that time. And so, you know, stuff like that might happen in the shuffle, but, you know, by all means, feel free to jump ahead or skip it all together. So that's what I got for you. If you like it, please thumbs up, share, subscribe. And if you actually do want to work with me, I think it's looking like maybe sometime in August I might be able to open up my schedule a little bit. It's just I have some time-intensive things that I'm doing right now, and I'm a person that won't bite off more than he can chew, and I don't like to overcommit and you know, just either put myself at jeopardy of not taking proper care of myself, or you know, having somebody else shoulder that burden. I'm not that guy. So right now this is where I am, and it's my pleasure and my joy to bring these messages to you. It's my honor to serve. So hopefully you enjoy them, and if you do want to work with me personally, that's about what the timetables are looking like at this juncture. And to stay abreast of that, just hit subscribe here, and also go to www.artoflove.me. That's my website. You can subscribe there and get on my newsletter list. I don't send them out very often, but whenever I do open up my schedule, I usually will send out a message and just let people know and send a link so they know how to get in there. So that's what I got, and I hope the readings are great for you. You are in my prayers, and we'll see you on the inside of the videos. Hey, what's happening, Earth signs? How you doing? Happy July to you. Can you believe it's already here? I hardly can myself. So it's summer, and we're going to get started with readings here. I am going to be doing these Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus in that order. I have already shuffled the decks, but we are actually going to shuffle them again for the camera, and for those of you who like to see the process being less, I guess, hidden or whatever. So we'll go ahead and get started with that. I'm also going to light some sage. If anything comes up, or if I have anything to say, I'll try to remember to grab this, but for now I'm going to put it down. Okay, a card just flew out. I was shuffling the Caroline Miss archetype cards for you Earth signs, and it's the student card. You know, it's really cool. I just put the deck down, actually, and not only did the student card fly out, but at the bottom of the deck, the mentor card is looking right up at me. So I'll just read them both, okay, because they kind of seem like there's a good relationship here. Student, light attributes: humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning. Shadow attributes: arrogance in the pursuit of destructive knowledge, unwillingness to translate knowledge into action. Mentor: Light attributes, passing on wisdom and refining a student's character. Shadow attributes, an ability to allow the student to move on to the role of master, imparting false instruction. That's them side by side. So I'm just gonna separate them and keep shuffling. I should also mention, when I actually toss the spread, I lay them with the backs up, and I leave them that way until I actually read that sign. So archetype cards are down right now, backs up. Good finish. I dropped some cards, but there were like 6 there, so I'm not going to look at those right now. was just shuffling the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck, which I use for the mental sector cards. And 2 cards just flew out. Discontent and boredom. And conflict and defeat. This is generally the 4 of Cups in like standard decks. And this one is the 5 of Swords. So, some kind of power struggle going on is what it feels like between that and the other cards that we got. The mentor, student, I don't know. Pay attention to that. I don't know who that's for, but if this is one picture, pay attention to where it feels like there might be an imbalance of power, especially if you are in the process of making a transition, say, from maybe student to whatever the next role is for you. Maybe you've been in some kind of training or something, and maybe you've been someone's subordinate before and they're having a hard time letting go. Could be a lot of things, but yeah, conflict and defeat and discontent and boredom. Whatever it is, they said you're going to be successful, so that discontent and boredom and conflict and defeat, that's how you felt, but they're saying that's just like a feeling. It's okay to feel that, but don't get that like too much in your head, okay, because that can kind of be like a mental hell. You're going to be alright. Okay, so I've dealt everything. I'm gonna just like lean back and get comfortable, pull my board up, light some sage, and then we're gonna go Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. Okay. What's up, Capricorn? How you doing? It's July. Whoa, okay, I'm totally tripping. Alright, so a couple cards flew out while we were doing the shuffle for the earth signs, and one of them was student. This is actually the one that flew right out of the deck. And that's your overall archetypal energy for the month. I just had to pull that out. I haven't even looked at all the cards yet, so that's cool. That doesn't always happen, but when it does, there's usually a pretty good reason for it. There's a strong impact usually with that energy. You know what, Capricorn? Pisces actually had one of your cards here too. I don't know if you're possibly dealing with a Pisces person. Maybe you have Pisces in your chart. But you actually got the same card in the same position too, and so I'll get to that here in a little more detail, but just so you know, it's what's showing up in your physical material world, which with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, this is actually the Seven of Cups. So also upright, theirs came up upright too. But we're going to go ahead and just start with the very beginning. And that was the student card. So this is the overall archetypal energy of the month. Usually this is sort of like the challenge because it's like the texture to the things around you. It's like the subtext energy. And the student card says, I'll just read it again for you in case you missed the beginning. Light attributes: humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning. Shadow attributes: arrogance in the pursuit of destructive knowledge, unwillingness to translate knowledge into action. And I don't know how well you can see this, but there's a person that's kind of like a part of that tree. They're like grown into that tree there. And, you know, that person could be anybody. I think it might be you. He, she, they. But, the tree is like got books hanging from it. There's like books at the roots and the base of the tree, and the person is reading one of those books. So it's kind of a cool image, and I'm gonna read for you what the book says. Alright, Capricorn. Student. They give us 3 buzzwords to keep in mind: disciple, devotee, apprentice. And there's 3 bullet points. First one says, suggests not an absence of mastery, but rather a continual pursuit of intellectual development. The second one says, has found a source of teaching, such as a group or spiritual master who becomes the instructor and spiritual guide. The shadow student usually manifests in tandem with the shadow teacher or mentor, avidly learning all the tools of the wrong trade or misusing the knowledge learned. May never move beyond the student role to develop an independent inner wisdom. And the tip that they've left us is look for a pattern of constant learning, openness to new information as an essential part of your well-being. And I was also just hearing that that relationship that we saw at the beginning, that you might have missed when I was shuffling, 2 cards presented themselves as a student, and on the bottom of the deck that was facing up at me when I noticed the student card flying out was actually the mentor card, and those two have direct correlation. And there was like a struggle happening with discontent, boredom, and conflict and defeat feelings, and it seems like somebody might be stepping into a new role is what I'm hearing too, very clearly, and perhaps not realizing how strong that they actually are and well equipped to do what it is that they're being led to do. And I think that's why, and I'm just going to jump ahead to your Archangel Michael card. I'm seeing the have confidence card showing up, and if that's you, Capricorn, you know, give yourself a little time to just acclimate and have confidence in what you're doing, because I'm definitely being told that you have the abilities and that you are in the right place and that you are capable, and that you're worthy of seeing yourself with a new set of eyes. Okay, just because you're used to yourself being a certain way, you can kind of become blind to some of your own talents and skills. And so I'm being told here that you're actually good enough, you're smart enough, and doggone it, people like you. So here again in your physical material realm, we've got the 7 of Cups, right? This is what's showing up in your day-to-day. It's kind of like an emotional card sometimes. Sometimes it can be sort of a little delusional, like you know, just sometimes just, you know, being stuck in like the process of just like considering all of one's options, or you know, what's gonna happen if. This is somewhat like a what if card for me sometimes. You know, it can be like, what if this happens, what if that happens, and you can get yourself stuck in patterns. And the thing is, this is what's showing up in your physical realm. So the challenge with this here is just being like stuck in that pattern where you're not really like doing what you need to do sometimes, because you might be like lost in that process of analyzing things and trying to sort it out in your mind. And there could be a very good reason. I mean, these are cups. Anytime we see cups, we know it's something of an emotional nature, and like I'm just looking at what this person's looking at, because like that dark figure there, that's a person. This could be someone in your world. I think it's probably you though. I think that's you. And you're like, what am I gonna do? And you're thinking about the options, because you got options. And that can be a blessing and a curse, right? Because then sometimes, you know, you've got to take an action, and sometimes people don't want to take an action. But here's what I need to tell you, darling. Choosing to not act is actually taking an action. Okay? Keep that in mind. If you see yourself getting kind of caught up in these things, especially if it's pulling at your heart and, you know, you're trying to evaluate the right thing to do, listen to your gut. And I've been doing a lot of solar plexus work. Today, my guides had me in this yellow bandana for some of my clients earlier, and it's been coming up a lot, and I'm being told here that the key to you taking the proper step forward is to take the one that feels like it's the best representation of who you are. And if you're not 100% sure who you are right now, because things are changing, and you maybe don't recognize yourself the way you used to, then that gives you more reason to feel into your body and into like what your gut tells you, you know, when you get that gut check, and see how your options are pulling at you here. this area here where you get that gut check stuff, that's called your solar plexus chakra. That's the color. And that is the key to choosing whatever those options are. Those cups are yellow, gold, color your solar plexus. So, you know, see how they're resonating with you when you're making these decisions. If that's what you're doing here, because the one that feels good is the one that's going to actually give you, you know, the most satisfaction going forward. And if you are feeling, you know, like it's like in alignment with you in that way, then you know that that's the one to pursue. Because we are being told that now is a really good time for you to be confident. And you know how to do that, Capricorn, right? So, in your mental sector, Spirit has delivered us this 9 in the John Holland Psychic Oracle Psychic Tarot Oracle deck. This is spiritual strength there. And this card, if we were looking at like this deck, Rider-Waite-Smith, that's your 9 of Wands and that other deck. And this card, it's really different in this deck. Here, there's like a monk, spiritual person standing within themselves, centered in their truth, and that is the strength. That is their foundation. But it's also that which protects them. It's the roof over their head. It's basically, you know, the temple within, right? And also without. It's kind of esoteric. But this is someone that has mastered certain parts of themselves to be able to stand within themselves in such a way. If we were looking in that other deck, that 9 of Wands, that this also is, that's a picture of a person that's like been through a war, right? Or something. They've been fighting for something, and they are just like almost out of energy, and they're like standing, but they're like holding onto this wand, just like bandaged, wounded, seasoned by the fires of whatever that was that they endured to arrive at a place where they've realized what their strength is. Even if it's not much left, they're just holding on to something, you know, so they don't fall over. But it's a person, I believe, that is very well aware of themselves in the way where it's like an actualization, you know. Sometimes you don't realize how strong you are until, you know, you've had your ass held into a fire. You know, you've had your feet to the fire, so to speak, perhaps. Or, you know, endured something that's taught you the difficult lessons, you know, all that stuff that you arrived from as the student of your life. And so the question is, are you willing to stand firm in those truths that you've learned and to apply them in some kind of way, being open to your life experience, whatever those options are, but taking the proper steps? You can be grounded and also take steps. And that's what's kind of cool about how they show us what's going on in your mind here, I think. And I just want to point it out so you can keep it close to you if it helps you at some point this month. But Wand's energy, which is what this really is, fire energy, fire element, this is like, this is stuff that moves, it's stuff that shakes, it's stuff that burns with passion, intensity, fury, drive. You know, it's the stuff that you have urges for, and it goes somewhere. It has a purpose to move things. And here, we don't see it really moving, you know? And with this 9, also in that other deck, it's really not about like moving quickly like some of the other wands are. It's about what that energy is in a grounded way. So it's like, it's energy that has learned to sort of be outside what its normal tendency is, because fire isn't usually very patient or standing still. And so arriving at the point of spiritual strength within, you've definitely learned something on your path. It's also possible, too, that, you know, these cups have something to do with relationship here. You know, I'm definitely picking up on the face in one of those cards, and, like, the clothed body. It's like, you know, something has come forward and revealed itself, and, you know, you're considering it and seeing if it kind of lines up with what you've learned on your journey. And, if that's the case, romance angels are saying it's worth a shot. Give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnership. I'm going to go ahead and read what these last 2 cards say. Alright. In the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck, the Spiritual Strength card, 9, aka the 9 of Wands. Here's what it says. This card is coming forth to give encouragement and remind you that you have the inner strength to complete whatever you've been working on. This final spirit card represents courage, discipline, stability, and persistence. You may be tired or weary from the struggle, but now is not the time to give in. Instead, tap into all of your inner reserves for that one final push to achieve the desired outcome. You've been through so much to get to this point, and even though you may have acquired some scars from the battle, you're wiser and stronger for it. The enlightenment you've gained will be an invaluable resource. You may also notice that you're experimenting with different things in your life at this time. All of these experiences feed your spirit and offer you knowledge for the future. So those are the things that you know, and that's what's on your mind. And that's what you're experiencing within yourself, is how strong you've become in those ways. The Give Your Relationship a Chance card. Again, that's what the picture looks like. It says work on your partnership. The romance angels see that your relationship is worth devoting effort to. Although there may be issues, these can be worked through and healed. You'll need to commit to the relationship to ensure the best chance of success. At the very least, if you do end it, you'll know that you gave it your all. You'll also understand the role that you played in its dynamics. In this way, you'll avoid attracting similarly painful situations in the future. You receive this card because there's hope for your partnership. The love is still there. Working with a counselor may be your best option at this point. This professional can identify areas of dysfunction and guide you both in healthier directions. So they're saying it's worth a shot, you know, whether it's an established relationship that you're in, you know, that it's definitely something that's worth fighting for and working on. And if it's something new, you know, maybe somebody new stepped forward, which I think is really possible. I think over the past, 2 months, there was, a lot of, soulmate vibe energy coming up for you, Capricorn, showing that somebody might be coming in that was some form of soulmate, whether it's, you know, personal, romantic, or, not, because soulmates can come up in different ways. You know, it doesn't always have to be like a romantic partner that you might be considering getting in a relationship. It can be a good working relationship, you know, a new business partnership. It can be a pet, you know. But whatever it is, if it's a soulmate too, you know, they're always here to teach us something. And the romance angels are just saying it's worth looking into further. So tap into that and definitely have confidence. So Archangel Michael wanted to leave us with that thought. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pray for you, and we're going to leave it on that note, Capricorn. Alright, here we go. Archangel Michael, please lend me your courage and fortitude. Help me realize that I am one with all that is divine, wisdom, strength, love, creativity, abundance, and health. Allow me to feel confident and peaceful about myself in all ways. Amen. Alright, Capricorn, that's what I got for you here for the month of July. I think it's going to be a good month. I think you're going to have a lot that you realize that you've grown through, and definitely have confidence in what you're doing. If you want someone to pray with you, hit me up. My email address is below, and if I don't hear from you, like, share, subscribe if you did. And if I don't hear from you, I'll just see you again in a couple weeks for the mid-monthlies, okay? Talk to you soon. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do Virgo next. What is up, Virgo? I'm going to light a fresh bit of sage for you, and then we will look at your cards. I haven't flipped them over yet. Alright, Virgo, I'm going to flip your cards over now. Are you having a good year? Man, you guys have been busy. Oops. Those aren't Capricorn's cards. Here we go. Alright, Virgo. Overall archetypal energy for the month of July, or at least the first half, using Carolyn Mrs. archetype cards. Spirit has shown us the vampire card for you, and I'm going to go ahead and read that one. Light attributes. Makes you aware that someone or something is draining your life force. Shadow attributes. Depleting others for your psychic survival. Chronic complaining and codependency. So, this is kind of like subtext of the month. Or at least the first couple weeks, because we'll come back for a tune-up in a couple weeks. But it's a pretty serious energy. And I'd be lying if I said that I liked it. I don't think it's nearly as sexy as, you know, Hollywood wants to show us vampires. But it's a good thing to be aware of. You know, they're saying that it's like kind of like the end with a certain situation for you right now, and you're trying to figure out, you know, best next step, because it's like literally at the end here. And that's showing up in your cards here. I'll flip them in a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and read you the book first on vampire. Okay, so we've got 3 different bullet points here, Virgo. First one says, mythically returns every evening to his source of life until there is no more to be had. The second one says, symbolic of the power dynamics that frequently drive male, female, or whatever attraction, male, male, female, female, they, whomever, relationships in which the male drains the power of the female for his own psychic survival, and the female submits, or vice versa. So feel free to interchange the genders or just ignore them entirely. Basically, what this card and this bullet point is conveying here on this point is that you know, there's oftentimes an iniquity, okay, an imbalance of power or perceived power between intimate relationships where, you know, one party will try to exert some control over the other one, and you know, it's kind of like a master-slave sort of thing. The third bullet point says here, shadow vampire forms psychic attachments to others out of a desire for approval and maintenance. And then they give us a tip here that says, look for lifelong patterns of behavior such as chronic complaining, over-dependency, and holding on to relationships psychically long after they've ended. So, Virgo, you know, they're saying you know it's the end, and that's even showing up in your physical material realm. This looks scarier than it probably is. Yes, this could mean that somebody died. And I know that for some of you, somebody has died. And I know that for a fact because some people that are very close to me that are Virgos have recently been dealing with this. And so, if you're one of those people who's experienced, you know, that departure and the pain with that, my condolences. And you are in my prayers. And I'm not going to try to minimize or explain what that means to you. All I'm going to point out is that there's an end. And if that isn't just about a physical departure with an individual that was in your life, it could just be the end of a cycle. You know, like, that's a lot of swords. You're thinking a lot. And this could have been going on a long time. This period of time that's coming to an end, however grisly it might have seemed or been, in fact, for you. And perhaps not. Maybe you're just like really thinking a lot. And you're just, you know, you've been in your mind a lot and very consumed. But that's one of the cautionary notes. The vampire is not hanging on psychically here to old relationships, especially if they should be in the ground dead. But they say you know. You do. You're just so empathic. You know that something has ended and that you're on a narrow margin if you keep holding on to it a certain way or allowing it to be attached to you a certain way, because oops, sorry, something just jumped up on my screen here. Because this is a 10, so it's been on your mind a while. Oops. This is a 10. It's you know, it's something that you've been sitting with for a while. You know, these don't just show up out of nowhere usually. I mean, it could if it's like an action, but here I'm just feeling like this is just a situation that's been going on a while, or, you know, something that has already ended, or, you know, it should, or is gonna. It's imminent change. And I'm just told you're going to feel a lot better because, you know, whatever this was like really depleting you in some kind of way. And I'm not saying that if you lost somebody that they were like a drag or like depleting you. You know, that's not what I'm trying to say here. But hanging on to it too much in your mind right now certainly will be. And so I don't think you're going to do that, though. I think that, you know, this is an acknowledgement of the fact that there's something that you have to leave behind. Whether it's a tendency of your own or another person or situation that's sucking you dry. And you know that because in your mental sector, this 8 that came up with the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck is the 8 of Pentacles in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And here it says 8 positive movement forward. And this is normally like the Craftsman card. It's like somebody that's working really, really hard and just like pouring so much of themselves into their work and like loving it, and here they're saying that it's going somewhere. You know you're leaving something else behind. You've been working really hard for it, and so maybe that's why there are 10 swords here. It's just been like your world, you know, and you've worked really hard to get to whatever this rite of passage is, where now that dark sky is turning yellow. Yellow. I keep being told to remind everybody about the yellow, like the sun here. You know, it's summer a lot of places, and if it is, try to get some sun. Go where the vampires are not. They're not in the sun, right? So if you need to get away from a vampire, go where they're not. And a lot of times it's, you know, focusing on your own inner light and your healthy sense of self. And so I'm telling everybody, balance your chakras this month. Balance your solar plexus chakra. Focus on yellow and things that bring you into the space here where you can tell if something feels good to you or not. Because that is what your positive movement forward is all coming from. It's from that inner light. And you know that. And since this is a pentacle implication here too, I believe that there's actually a strong indication that the financial side of it is actually heading in a really good direction. 8 of Pentacles is really good. That's, you know, stabilizing a financial situation in quite a number of ways. And so keep doing that, and good on you. And let me see here. I'm going to go ahead and read what the book says for you on that positive movement forward card. Alright, Virgo. It says, you're a true artisan, for you have the craft skills, knowledge, gifts, and talents to assist you even more to advance in a positive direction. The number 8 always denotes prosperity and abundance, but in this case, it's your efforts that have gotten you to this point. Good for you. This card often comes forth to honor and recognize individuals who are in the fields of art, design, music, and education. When you follow and build on your passion, the soul can truly express itself and then can assist you to move closer toward your highest good. An opportunity could suddenly come up with an offer for an apprenticeship. Notice if there are areas of passion that are trying to manifest into your world. When they arise, you'll have ample moments to share them with others. That sounds pretty awesome. And maybe part of what that has to do with is what's showing up in your personal / romantic, sometimes, sector. Soulmate, Virgo. Soulmate. Yes, this is your soulmate. Whoever you thought of first, that's who it is. Maybe that's what's making you feel all warm and fuzzy, like the sun is lighting up your world and it's guiding your path. and all the work that you touch your hands to, and all the things that you do leading you out of whatever that dark place was that maybe left you feeling like that. You know? Maybe the thing that fucked you over. Maybe you're just thinking about it a lot this month because it's like what you left, and it's okay to feel a little defensive. Like, this person here, that can be anybody. That can be, you know, you, perhaps, he, she, they, whatever. Makes sense in your situation. But this person's like guarding their throat, you know? They're just like, maybe even afraid to speak their truth, because like covering the throat here, it's like there's some throat shock or something here. Maybe that's something to also work on right now. And I'm hearing that it has to do with like, you know, you blocking or feeling like there's something blocking your healthy sense of ego. See that yellow, that gold right back here that's behind, I'm just gonna say her, but whoever this person is, just noticing that she is standing, she's like blocking her own healthy sense of self by blocking her own truth and holding her own throat. Maybe she's afraid to say something because of what happened before. And I think that it's going to be okay, because it seems like the company that you're around, whether this is, you know, got a romantic implication or not, soulmate doesn't have to be romantic. Although, I will say, if I had to pick a romance card out of this deck, that one looks pretty good. You know, maybe you have somebody that makes you feel like you want to try for something like that, and they're making you feel comfortable enough to maybe even consider getting close. And if that's the case, maybe you don't have to let both hands off your throat there. You can guard what you have to say. But it might be okay to put one hand down, or at least walk away from however you're blocking yourself, from your truth. It's almost like there's something she doesn't want to see. But that's her light. And so, yeah, I'm just really going to recommend some solar plexus work this month for everybody. I'm going to put that in the prayer. I'm going to read to you what the soulmate card says in the Romance Angels Oracle cards book. Alright, Virgo, it says, yes, this is your soulmate. You chose this card because you wonder if a certain person is your soulmate, and the answer is yes. As we all do, you have many soulmates, beings with whom you share a mystical soul connection and life path. Soulmates incarnate with the plan of coming together for mutual spiritual and personal growth. As you suspected, the person you're inquiring about is one of yours. That sense of familiarity and comfort you felt when you first met also indicates your soulmate bond. This card sometimes comes to those who ask, when will I meet my soulmate? Or will I ever meet my soulmate? As validation that this will occur. Many times this is a person whom you already know. Although romantic sparks didn't fly at first, you'll have another opportunity to explore passion together. So, even if there's no passionate sparks, it could still be a soulmate and somebody that you can get close to. And it doesn't have to be like, you know, romance, gooey stuff. But perhaps somebody that you can trust, and maybe let down some of that guard, because we're being told that the worst is just over. You know, this part has ended. See, the sun's coming up again. It has something to do with how you look at yourself. So that's what this color is all about. Look up solar plexus chakra. Oh, and I will also mention this 8 of Pentacles, which is here in this deck as the positive movement forward card. It was bear with me a sec. I'm grabbing my book. Scorpio. It was Scorpio. So, I don't know. Maybe you have some Scorpio influence, or perhaps even dealing with a Scorpio. But you might want to look up the water sign readings and just click on Scorpio, perhaps, because they actually got this card. Although it presented in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, so it was the actual Eight of Pentacles, the guy that's like sitting there working on a coin. And anyway, same card there. We're going to go ahead and we're going to seal this one up with a prayer, because Archangel Michael says you've got some options. So I think you know that. Explore your options. You've got positive movement ahead of you, and we are going to pray for you, Virgo. Okay. Dear God, thank you for your wisdom and love, helping me see, understand, and assess all of my alternative options. Please guide me in the best direction for my health, happiness, and life's purpose. Amen. Alright, Virgo, that's what I got for you. I hope you liked it. And if you did, like, share, subscribe. If you want me to pray, I would love to pray with you or for you. Feel free to hit me up. My email address is below. And if I don't hear from you, I'm just going to keep you in my prayers. And I'm really sorry if you lost somebody special to you. I'll be praying for you and for their loved ones and them and their soul's journey. And yeah, I'll see you again in a couple of weeks when we come back for the July mid-monthlies. Alright, you take care and God bless. We're actually going to finish this up now with Taurus. So I'm just going to go ahead and light a little sage here for you, Taurus. Get some fresh sage for you, and then I'm going to flip over your cards and we'll get started. Whoops. Dropping stuff. Alright, Taurus. Happy July to you. Put your cards down here. Alright, let's see who got this. Actually, you and Cancer got the same archetype card here, Taurus. And I guess that's not too surprising. We'll go ahead and start with it. I actually like this one a lot for your monthly archetype. Spirit has presented you with the Priest card. And like I said, Cancer also got this one, so maybe you have some Cancer in your chart, or dealing with even some Cancerian people or influences. But here's what the Priest card says. Light attributes. Facilitates spiritual commitments. Serves as a channel of spiritual energy. And shadow attributes state. Violates the trust of your spiritual community. Seduced by your own spiritual role. So this is like the energy that you're going to be experiencing around you in different situations, and also kind of like in and within you. This is always an interesting energy for me, these archetypes, because they can play out in so many different ways. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're a priest or that you're going to have a priest in your life or have any kind of like spiritual experiences per se, but there are ways that are associated with this, and the book will go into a little more detail, so I'm going to pop that open for you here. Just things to keep in mind. So they've given us other variations of what this word means in the form of like buzzwords. Apply whatever gender makes sense to you for this, but priest, it says here in parenthetical quotes, priestess, minister, rabbi, and evangelist. And then we have 4 bullet points. First one says, defined by ritual of ordination, the official capacity to facilitate spiritual vows, commitments to divine authority. The second one says, serves as spiritual channel of divine energy for others. And the third one says, must represent the teachings through personal example. And the last one says, shadow priest manifests as the inability to live according to one's own teachings, especially in lapses of personal morality or using ordained authority to control people for personal gain. And then there's a tip that says, look for a lifetime commitment to serving others by facilitating their spiritual rituals. So, this is basically like the context, style, energy of at least the first part of July there, Taurus. What we're seeing in physical material realm looks like a decision. With the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck, this is our 2 of Wands. So this could also be fire elements, people in your world, or perhaps one person, or maybe 2. Maybe you have 2 fire signs that are showing up, and maybe you're deciding which one to do something with. Possibly, but this could also just be like, embarking on a decision that you've been thinking of for a while. This is somebody that's looking to the future and considering their world and options. And anytime we see like wands, this fire element, this is the stuff that stirs your passion and your drive and those primal forces and, the things that make you want to get up and go do life, right? So perhaps there was a big decision you were making, and right now it's like getting ready to take a step into whatever that new world is, or that new direction, whatever's on the horizon that you're looking at there, because that could be you. I don't know how you read this card. It could be he, she, they. It could be someone else in your life too that's acting like this character. This is just somebody that's like, they've been somewhat guarded here. They're protected behind like whatever this wall is between them and the future ahead. But they've already picked. And even if they haven't taken like a step with their own foot, kind of look at those wands there. See the one behind? I'm just going to see him. Okay, but that could be anybody. But see that one behind him? It's like, it's it on the ground. And it looks like it's even sort of like fastened to the wall. And look at the one that's in his hand. He's like propped it up on something. So it's like he already like grabbed the one he wants. This is the direction. And he put it here. He's like, that's where I'm going. You see, he knows that's the direction of his world, or her world, or their world. And they're excited. Because that's fire. And if it has something to do with another person, it could have something to do with, like I said, a fire element person that's got like strong fire element. That might be somebody that's got like sun, moon, or rising, and one of the fire signs. Sag, Aries, Leo person. Got you all turned on. Moving. And you've got something on your mind here. Obstacles and challenges came up. Here, 5 Psychic Tarot Oracle deck from John Holland. This is also Wands energy. If we were looking in this deck, this would also be a Wands card, just like that too. It would be your 5 of Wands, which is sometimes kind of like a little bit annoying kind of energy for me sometimes. Like personally, when it comes up, sometimes it's just like hassles that you have to deal with, trying to like figure out your way, and this person's like taking really careful steps because there's some kind of broken bridge that they're trying to mend together to even take these steps forward where they want to go. Maybe that's why they haven't like moved their foot yet. Like I'm noticing that like the foot hasn't moved. It's just like trying to like, okay, I'm gonna take a step now. And they're looking like, oh shit, where do I take that step, right? Where's my stick? But this is what's on your mind. I'm gonna read you what the book says. Here we go. Alright, from the book Obstacles and Challenges, Taurus. This card represents the obstacles, power struggles, and challenges that you must face in order to overcome them. This could be a difficult period to get through, but it's not impossible. If you open your mind and see the bigger picture of how something went wrong, don't get caught up in it. Just pause and stand back for clarity. Observe where adjustments are required or which decisions may need to be changed and to enable you to move forward in a positive direction. Life really is all about learning. Don't play the victim. Take the knowledge you've gained from this experience so that you can apply it to similar situations in the future. This card often comes forth when competition is around you, whether it's in your personal or business life. This is an excellent time to think creatively and ask yourself, how can I make myself shine above all the rest? And so, it could be like even a competitive romantic situation. I'm just gonna say, because like there might be 2 options, and maybe this isn't even for you. That might be somebody in your world, and you're trying to figure out, how to stand out above the rest, and maybe that's why, you're feeling challenged here, right? In that Rider-Waite-Smith deck, in this deck, when that other card shows up, this 5 of Wands, it's like people kind of like trying to one-up, one another. They're like all standing around these wands, and it's kind of like, it almost looks like adolescents, like young, I would say young boys, maybe like teenagers or something, and they're like, trying to hit each other with sticks and stuff. But it's not like, I've never seen it be like really serious, like somebody's like trying to injure another person like that. But it's kind of like, competition, just being cocky. Sometimes I see that when there's like a person that's like dating and playing the field, or just getting a lot of like attention, like sometimes sexual attention. And I'm just gonna go out and say here too, this could be like kind of a funny little sexual self-gratifying type of card for me too. Like the guy is holding a stick and there's like a ball in his hand, and this is, it's fire energy, and the priest is keeping to themselves, or maybe has been, and that could be having like a little bit of a celibate, self-taking care of vibe, and maybe kind of tired of that, looking to break a cycle. Or that could be somebody that's in your world too. But anyway, I'm only saying it because it was saying something about wanting to stand out above the rest, and that 5 for me is indicative of obviously the Hierophant or the Hierophant, depending on how you like to see it. But that is a major arcana card of institutions like education, sometimes marriage. And if it was a marriage, there would probably be a priest, and that would explain a possible engagement showing up in your personal / possibly romantic, if this is right, for you, sector. And that might be a reason why or how a person would be taking on obstacles and challenges and making firm decisions to move forward, however trepidatiously and with caution in some cases, to stand out from the rest, because that was one of the other indications on this card. So some of y'all might be getting engaged. Be like, fuck the bullshit. Ran away with me, baby. I picked you, you pick me now. And, that might be why priest is showing up, but that's a nice card right there. Could also be someone in your life getting engaged or making a commitment of some kind to something. But if it's romantic, it says your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. And if that's the case, congratulations. I'm going to go ahead and read what the book says. Here we go. Alright, Taurus. Congratulations. This card signals pending nuptials, beginning with a romantic engagement. Even if you're not presently in a relationship, the romance angels can see one upon your horizon. This card comes to you as reassurance, specifically so that you'll choose to release any worries about whether you'll get married, because you will. Or you will form a deeper connection. Not everybody wants to get married. Deep romantic love, in which you feel treasured, is in the cards for you. The deeper meaning of this card relates to commitment. First, you commit to taking care of yourself. You establish boundaries about what you will and won't accept in your relationships and in other life areas, such as career, home, lifestyle, and so on. Next, you honor your self-commitment by taking decisive action and telling others how you truthfully feel about their behavior. As you commit to yourself, the universe sends you additional experiences of loving commitment, including the promise of marriage. So, you're saying commit to yourself first, so, maybe some of you guys are watching like, anybody I'm going to get married to. Oh, it doesn't have to be about that. It's about commitment to yourself and self-honesty. Because if you're being honest with yourself about what you're committing to in your own life, it's going to make it a whole lot easier to actually take that step towards it, even if it's feeling kind of challenging and like there's some obstacles and some shit in the way. And maybe just tap into your higher mind here, your inner priestess. Facilitate your own spiritual commitments by serving as a channel of spiritual energy for yourself. You can do that. And if you are actually just getting closer to the one that you want to be with, congrats, whether it results in a marriage or not. And if you're looking for somebody ordained to help you celebrate your nuptials, this guy actually does that. So I would love to help you if you're somewhere in my vicinity or within my travel area. And we're going to go ahead and seal this one up for you, Taurus, with a prayer. Archangel Michael wants you to know that you and your loved ones are safe. So whatever's going on right now, you're safe. And we're going to pray for you. All right. Dear God and Archangel Michael, thank you for watching over me and my loved ones. And you can name names here. Please help me feel secure and at peace, and fill me with faith so that I may focus on my priorities and enjoy a healthful, happy life. Amen. Alright, Taurus, that's what I got for you. I hope you liked it. If you did, thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. If I can pray for you, feel free to hit me up. Email address is below. And if I don't hear from you, I just hope you enjoy the next couple weeks. And I'll see you back soon when I come back for the mid-monthly July readings. God bless you, and talk to you soon.